Yeah, it was kind of like Alex said, kind of a demoralizing experience where I went into college feeling like, okay, I'm going to, have all these resources at my fingertips. I can work with other people. I can make these films. And I ended up sort of, taking some knocks early on, which were helpful in the long run of feeling like, okay, I'm not as good of a filmmaker as I think I am. That was very constructive. But I think some of the projects I wanted to do, especially my senior film, which was in the fall semester of my senior year, I had a script that I was pretty happy with. It was a World War II script, but it was pretty doable. It was
Hmm.
just a question of costumes. I would have had to obtain some, German and American army uniforms.
I don't think I've read that.
No, I have it around. I'll send it to you. But
Oh wow, yeah, I've never
yeah,
seen that.
it's well, the script, it never got made.
Right, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
but my professor at the time, he was mostly like very encouraging, but with this project, he was like, I don't know, man, it's gonna look cheap, it's gonna look cheesy, like you're not gonna be able to pull it off. I was like, I feel like it's pretty simple. Like, I think we can do this. And he was like, I don't think so. And so I just kind of felt a little, apprehensive
Hmm.
about doing it because he was handling the final grade. And I was like, well, I guess I'll make something else. And so I went surreal,
Hmm.
and I ended up making, at the time I was really demoralized at the end of that semester because I was like, okay, I made that college film,
Hmm.
yeah. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the irony of not making that World War II film was that was also the semester that the college theater troupe put on a production of The Diary of Anne Frank.
Oh my
They
gosh.
had in the costume department shipped in period accurate costumes, and I would have had access to all of that stuff.
Oh crap.
Yeah, so that went by the wayside. Anyway, at the time, I was very influenced by David Lynch. I was a big fan of Twin Peaks and Blue Velvet, especially. And I wrote a very David Lynch inspired script, kind of like a cross between David Lynch and a little bit of Videodrome. The script was about this guy who comes home and finds that his parents have actually been sucked into their television, and he goes in to rescue them. Again, things kind of fell through in the script. The parents got cut out of the script. There was a girlfriend. Basically, the whole story got cut out, and it became about this guy who gets sucked into a television and has to get his way out. And it just became very esoteric and very strange. And I had a full crew. I had access to a studio. Like, that part was amazing. I
Hmm.
mean, I can't tell you the luxury of like having camera assistants and a whole team of people doing audio and a cinematographer and a gaffer and actors and a producer and an assistant director, and like, I'll never have that again. That was amazing. It's the only time to this day where I ever really felt like I was directing a movie, because like the films that we
Hmm.
make, we wear all of the hats, we do everything. And so it's like you're the director, but you're also the cinematographer, and you're thinking about editing, and you're the producer and the assistant director. You get everybody there, you do everything. And you're probably also acting too because nobody showed up. But with this, I just had to think about directing the movie, and that was unique. I was directing a script that had been chopped to bits because I was really self-conscious about pulling it off. Auditions didn't go well for that either, and so a lot of little things went wrong in the planning, especially. But I was able to, pull off some stuff too, which was pretty impressive. And I had a really good crew, and they did a good job lighting. I think if circumstances were different, if I had it to do over again, I think I could have come up with something pretty good, because all the elements were sort of there. It was just the devil was in the details, really. But there were some moments where I was able to kind of take charge as a director and handle some things. There was one really complicated shot. There's a dog in the movie. Never have animals in your movies. Just don't do it.
Hmm.
There's a reason why there's a cottage industry in Hollywood of like animal training, because if you just put somebody's dog, even if it's a well-behaved dog, into a movie, they're going to get scared, they're going to be confused, they're not going to stay put, they're not going to do what you want them to do, like, ever. Like, just forget about it, because it's a completely unnatural scenario. And so this dog kept trying to get away from the lead actor. He just, like, this dog decided that she hated the lead actor and didn't want anything to do with him, even though they have to sit together in the opening shot. And there's this complicated tracking shot in the movie where it like starts on the television and then it dollies over and it lands on the lead actor and his dog. And the dog just wouldn't stay put. And the director of photography is doing this camera move, 5 takes, 8 takes, 10 takes, 15 takes of this complicated dolly move. And every time something goes wrong, either with the dolly shot or when we finally, like, the shot is perfect, but we pan over and the dog is just gone, or like trying to get away from the lead actor. And I can see the DP is sweating profusely and getting increasingly like angry. And eventually he just like snaps and he's like freaking out at everyone. He's like, cut the dog. Like, the dog is out of the movie, Joel. Like, write the dog out of the script. And I say, like, calm down, man. We're going to do this. It's going to happen. I kept like rallying everybody. I'm like, we're going to do this. It's going to be fine. Cut the opening shot. Here's what we do. Get a wide of the TV, get a wide of the dog and the actor. The dog won't stay put in a close-up with the actor. Okay. You, second AD. Yes, you're a woman. Yes, you're dressed completely differently than the lead actor, but the dog likes you. Put on the lead actor's costume. I'm going to have you double for him in the close-up with the dog. And the DP is like, no, it's not going to work. You have to cut the dog. This isn't going to work. This is terrible. This is not the shot list. He's like freaking out and he's sweating and he's angry and he's swearing. And I'm like, man, it's going to work. It's going to cut together. And so we did it. We had the assistant director. She doubled for the lead actor, who was a guy. The dog hung out with her, had a great time. We got the shots, and in the edit, it cut together perfectly. And I had the director of photography in the edit bay with me when we cut it together, and he was like, I can't believe it. Like, it worked. And I was like, yes, it did. And like moments like that where I was really happy. Like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. I can manage a set. I can manage, difficult personalities and pull everybody together. But I was just increasingly unhappy. It was a difficult semester. I progressively hated the film that we were making. And I just remember the last day of the shoot. It was the day of the Paris bombings. In 2015, end of 2015, I think. And I had friends in Paris that day. And I remember I was really worried about them. And I had to go and like finish this short film, this stupid short film. And I was just depressed. I was seriously like reconsidering my whole trajectory. Like, I don't want to make films anymore. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm about to graduate, like what's going to happen. Just a lot of things are going through my head. And I remember like we went on a break for shooting and I disappeared into a coffee shop in town. And I was just like hiding there. And I didn't want to go back to set. And my producer was calling me, like trying to figure out where I was. And I just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to finish this film. And eventually I was like, okay, I can't hide forever. So I walked to the studio and we got the final shots, which were shots of the dog against a black backdrop, like, because the dog gets sucked into the TV at the end. We got those shots and that was it. We wrapped, did the edit of the film, and for better or worse, we finished it. Yeah, I mean, I remember like Klein, when I showed it to him, I was like, man, I feel like an a-hole. Like, I made that college movie. And he's like, it's all right, dude. Like, you're gonna be fine. He was like trying to talk me off the ledge. And then the screening, we were in a theater with a maximum capacity of 300 people, and it was full. Every senior film was screened. And I, like, at this point was in such utter contempt of the movie. I wasn't going to show it at all. Like, my plan was just to not do it. But then I realized, like, the crew's going to be there. They're really proud of their work. The lighting guy really, was happy with the work he did. There were some special effects, the actors, everybody was really excited to see it. And I'm like, okay, we'll show it. And I thought, if we're going to do this, I'm going to have some fun. So there is, in the movie, for some reason, a warthog man that attacks the main character, like after he gets sucked into the television. There's like a horror movie that's on TV or something. And so in a very like William Castle inspired moment, I had one of my crew put on the warthog mask like in the theater, and then after, as the credits were rolling, he like got up and like started like running at people at the end. And so we did that. That was fun. But I just remember like all these friends I had who weren't in my film classes, and I'm like, they're going to be so like confused by this. I'm just like looking around at all my friends. I'm like, all right, I guess you're here for this. And yeah, like you said earlier, it felt like being stripped in public. It really did. And I knew it wasn't good. But there was one guy in the back row, not a film major, probably some, some other senior, from the class's friend who just showed up. This like heavy set guy with a kind of high pitched voice. And he did not stop laughing the entire, it's not a comedy really, but he didn't stop cracking up throughout the whole movie. God bless this man. He saved the screening. He laughed through the whole thing. And while everyone else is dour and confused, this guy is having the time of his life. I think eventually his laugh was contagious. Like other people in the room like started cracking up at like just the odd things happening on screen. And it really did kind of lighten the mood. Like I really wasn't looking at the screen throughout the whole thing. But that was, yeah, that that was the one saving grace, I think.